Greetings, everyone. This is Steve from Paracords of Kindness. I had a couple of the guys in one of the Facebook groups ask me about tutorial for this bracelet right here that I did. Now I'll go ahead and tell everybody up front. I don't have the best camera. I don't have the best equipment. And this is probably going to be a bit confusing, but I'm going to try to explain this the best I can. We're gonna simplify it down. Like I told the guys, I said I took pictures when I was doing this because I sort of thought it out in my head, and then I started doing it, and I took pictures of the steps. But like I told them, because I've used so many cords of the same color, the pictures can be hard to follow. Now I know those who are more advanced have been doing this longer, like they said, and it's true. You can some people can follow the picture, even though there's multiple cords of the same color. So, but for the purposes of this video, I'm going to use these pictures I've taken. I've got still pictures, and I'm going to just narrate through this. But I'll show you. Here it is. It's basically, for those of you who know the basic Sanctified. I used a 2-strand core. I guess some people would call that a baby Sanctified. And I took like the Endless Falls, or some people call it the chained Endless Falls or the chain mail Endless Falls. Two things, Endless Falls and the chain variation, whatever. I kind of took those two ideas and melded them together in this. Excuse me, to do this. Now, like I said, I'm going to eliminate a lot of, in my explaining, I'm not going to explain everything. I'm going to basically walk through these pictures I took and try to explain this in a way that somebody who's not so advanced might be able to make this. Now, granted, like I said, I used multiple cords of the same color, and that's what made it. That's why the picture, when I posted it the other day, and it was the beginning, and I had it on the jig, and all the cords were laid out there, and I said it looked like an Amazonian deadly spider or something. It's because there were so many cords, and it was confusing. But I'm gonna try to explain this. So here we go. Here's this. Here, let me back this out just a little bit. Let me zoom out just a little bit. Like I said, I'm not the best. I don't have the best camera. I don't have the best software. I'm not like some of these people on YouTube who do this and they make a living off of it. That's not me. But that's what it looks like. Now, for the sake of me explaining this, I'll go ahead and tell you this. Okay, for those of you who know how to make a Sanctified, all you got to do, if you don't know, go find a video for Sanctified or a baby Sanctified weave on YouTube and watch it, and you'll see how to do it. These yellow cords, okay, let me back up. Let me say this. None of this yellow microcord was stitched after the fact. It was all woven simultaneously as I wove the bracelet together. So I didn't come back with a lacing needle or a fid or whatever and stitch any of it through. I simply, this is moss. That's the color. Moss and then goldenrod microcord. I simply had 2 cords and I wove it together. And when I did it, I paid attention and I was careful to make sure that the microcord stayed on the side of the cord I wanted it to. So it would be consistent, just like any time. Same thing with this. I'm not going to explain how to do all this microcord lacing. Why? It just, like this piece of microcord, it's adjacent to this piece of burnt orange. When you weave it, just keep it adjacent and do it. Okay? Makes sense? That's that. And you can see the back of it or whatever. But anyway, here we go. I'm going to try to explain this. I'm going to just bring up these still shots that I took, and I'm going to try to walk through the process. We see it here. Okay, so let's transition over to the still frame pictures. And you'll see this was the end results after I tightened everything up. I'll say this too about this one. Just the nature of the way this is, as you start and you go down and you tighten it and tighten it and tighten it. I know some people, they don't tighten theirs up completely. And it looks like, I see some of these pictures. Not that it's bad, it's just personal preference. It looks like that bracelet's a sponge. Me, I like mine tight. I like them really, really tight. I pull them as tight as I can. And I know some weaves you can't do that on because it'll capsize the knot or distort the knot. But on the ones you can, yeah. But this one, as you do it and you get further and further down, I had to back up and tighten it up incrementally and work my way down. And I'd do a little bit more and I'd go back and I'd tighten it up, work my way down. And because it felt like a sponge, because the nature of this, you cannot pull it to get it tight. You'll see when I explain how this middle section goes, because that's all this is. The rest of it's just a basic Sanctified. It's what I've done in the middle, like any Sanctified. You got a Sanctified Covenant, you got a Sanctified Endless Falls, Sanctified Chainmail, Sanctified Switchback. You know, they're all the same. The only thing different is what's done right here in the middle. And I'm going to show you how I did this. Makes sense? We're going to eliminate all this stuff, all the microcord and all, and the multiple colors, and I'm going to just explain to you what I did. But I'm going to use these pictures and try to simplify it just a little bit. Okay, now with that said, let's go to the pictures. I know I'm a talker, but I like to explain things thoroughly in hopes that people will understand what I'm trying to say. Okay, let's see. Give me a second. It's been a while since I've used this software. Okay. Give me a second. Okay, now we're going to transition over to these still frame shots. And I'll go ahead and tell you, I apologize that the mouse is not as big as it could be. I tried to increase the size of the mouse, which I can do on my computer, but feeding it into this software in order to make this video this way, it doesn't equate to it. So we're just going to have to, you can see that. Okay, like I said, it's a basic Sanctified. That's all it is. And one of the reasons this makes this confusing is that the two main cords that make it a Sanctified on the side, they're the same color. So that right there leads to a lot of the confusion in the pictures I've taken. Makes sense? And like I said, I'm not going to explain how to do all this lacing, because all I did was this cord right, this green or this moss, and this goldenrod microcord, they lay right next to each other. I did it when I wove the bracelet initially. I wove those two pieces together all through the bracelet. Same thing with this piece of gold next to this burgundy. They got woven together at the same time. I did not come back after the fact I finished the bracelet and used a fid to stitch it back in there. I didn't do that. Now sometimes I do that, but with this I didn't. Makes sense? Okay, let's go to the next picture. Like I said, it's a basic Sanctified. And I know in this picture it's kind of hard to see, but you see up here, I got a burgundy and a burnt orange. Okay, what you can't see very well in this picture is this piece of burnt orange going up. There is also up under that another piece of burgundy. You can kind of see it right up here at the top. Okay, now for those who don't understand, these two pieces, this piece of burgundy here that loops around and goes back up, and this piece of burnt orange here, they are let's back up. They are these two outer threads. This is the burgundy. These two outer threads are the burgundy, and these two burnt oranges are that outer thread. Those single two that were laying on top of each other are these two right here. You see what I'm saying? So basically, what you got going on is this burnt orange and this burgundy and this burgundy is the same as this burgundy and this burgundy, and it all goes through your all goes through your hitch up here. Now this burnt orange and this burnt orange is the same as obviously this burnt orange and this burnt orange, and it goes through the hitch up here. Now these center strands, see how there's a burgundy and a burnt orange, a burgundy and a burnt orange. This is where they start right here, up under this piece of burgundy is a burnt orange piece. You can see it right here. They go through right there and they get snips and singed at the back. You can see the other end of it right here before I snip and singed it. You see what I'm saying? So basically you have three cords. Does that make sense? Hopefully that makes sense right there. All right. So let's go to this picture again. Like I said, it's a basic Sanctified. We are a 2-strand Sanctified. If you don't know how to weave one of those, go find a video on YouTube and it'll explain it. I'm simply trying to explain the modification I did down the middle. Like I said, you've got this burgundy and this burgundy, same cord. It's just looped through the hitches up here. And this burnt orange and this burnt orange, looped through the hitches. And like I said, this piece of burnt orange is its own independent piece that makes the center strand down the middle. And there's a piece of burgundy right behind it that is also an independent piece of burgundy. And those two alternate, just like the pattern alternates down through there. Does all that make sense? Hopefully it does. And you see this piece of gold that follows that piece of burgundy on either side. It's the same way with this piece of burnt orange. It's got a piece of gold with it that follows it all the way down. Let's back up and you'll see. You see how the gold on either side. Like I said, I wove the gold in at the same time I did the burgundy. At the same time I did this burnt orange. Now this is two separate pieces of gold. This gold and this gold is two separate threads like you see in this picture. Two separate pieces of gold, right? But they all go through the center hitch like you're going to do any kind of Sanctified, modified type weave. Makes sense? Okay. I know I talk a lot, but I try to be thorough so it makes sense. All I did was you do your basic Sanctified and you bring down whatever colors you're going to do. You see, mine's confusing because I have multiple cords of all the same color. See, this burgundy, it can be confusing because you also have this other burgundy. Right? But it's separate cords. This burnt orange is the same as, is a separate cord, but it's the same color. Therefore, it makes it confusing. Then you have all these orange or gold cords running everywhere. It gets confusing. Makes sense? But all you do is you bring down the gold, the burgundy, the burnt orange, the burgundy, and the gold. And you're going to run them all across your crossover right here of your Sanctified like you do anything else. And you're going to tuck them all through the hole here downward. Let's go to the next picture. See, I got them all tucked in. Now the trick on the next one, this is where it can be confusing because of the multiple colors. What we're going to do now is we're going to take this burnt orange and this burgundy and the burnt orange on either side and the gold that goes with it, and we're going to come up through this hole. So all this is running on the bottom and we're going to bring it up. And now the thing is, you're going to have to interweave the cords coming up through the hole in between the ones going down through the hole. Does that make sense? And the way I did it every time, the one I was bringing up from the bottom was always on the left. Right? So this burgundy is the outer of the middle type weave. This burnt orange over here is the outer. But every time I brought, whichever it was, when I brought it up, I always kept it to the left. Same with the center strand. When this burgundy comes up through the hole, it stays to the left of the burnt orange center strand. So basically what you have is leave out the two golds. You have a burgundy, a burnt orange, and a burgundy. But you also have burnt orange, burgundy, and burnt orange. Makes sense? You have 3 going down and 3 coming up. And they alternate. One's coming up, one's going down, one's coming up, one's going down. Makes sense? Because this wraps around the center stand, and once you tighten it up, you see what it looks like. Okay, let's go to the next picture. Hopefully what I just said makes sense. See, now I've tightened it all. I've tightened up the side strands, the main, body of the Sanctified, and now the gold, the burnt orange, or the gold, the burgundy, the burnt orange, burgundy, and the gold are all going down through the gap between the 2 core strands. Makes sense? Now, it should be in the next picture. You're going to see all the other strands, these 3 up here, with the corresponding golds coming up. But, like I said, they alternate. You got one coming up, the burgundy's going down. This burgundy's coming up, this orange is going down. Then the next orange, it's coming up, and the burgundy's going down. Now, it's kind of hard to see all that, but I'm trying to explain it so you can make out what the picture is, if that makes any sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Okay, the next picture. Just hang on. Let's back up one picture. Yeah, all this picture is just showing how I'm doing the Sanctified, the basic Sanctified weave. Like I said, if you don't know how to do that, find your video on YouTube. They'll explain it. The next one should be the one where I'm bringing all these 3 cores, orange, burgundy, and orange, up through here. Watch. See? The 2 oranges and the burgundy. Like I said, the other 3, they're going down through the hole, and these 3 down here are coming up. And like I said, I alternated them. Does that make any sense? Hopefully that made sense. Now, like I said, I'll put these pictures on a Google Drive in a folder, and I make the link available. That way y'all can share them and do whatever you want with them and use them. But here, let me go back. Give me just a second, and I'm going to explain. Hang on just a second. Okay. Here, let me get that out of the way. Basically, what I'm saying on here, for those who don't understand, let's see, up here at the top, this burgundy is on top. Up under, there's a gold. I'm sorry. There's a burgundy. Up under, there's a burnt orange, right? Okay, so what you got is burgundy, orange, and burgundy. Makes sense? The next one is the orange, burgundy, orange. It's reversed. Basically, as this burgundy, orange, and burgundy go down, the one below it, the orange, burgundy, and orange, is coming up. So you have these going down and the others coming up. You see how they're alternating? I know my hands look terrible. I'm sorry. I deal with chemicals a lot. But that's all it is. You've got the one from the bottom coming up. I kept it on the left. And the one going down and the one coming up. Do you see that? And they just interweave around the... Here, let's pull one of these pictures back up and you'll see. Right here. Right here. These 3 are going down around the center, the center that where everything crosses over, how you go over and under fly, the endless falls. You go over and you wrap it back around under itself. You don't do that with this. You have your center strand. You have your 2 core strands, and then you have where the Sanctified weave goes. You have the strands that say here's your center strands and your 2 core strands. You have these cores that come over the top of them, and like on the endless files, they wrap around and they come back down. On this, it doesn't do that. It just wraps around, it goes down. Then you have the other cords that come up. Then you make you another, sanctified crossover right there in the middle. And there's 2 cords. You got to set this. You got the 3 there up top and 3 there up bottom, and you just weave them, interlacing them, weave them. And they basically, what you end up having, if you took like a profile view and looked at it from the side, you have all your little crossovers that make, like your 2 core strands running this way, and you have all your little crossovers that make it to sanctified. Instead of coming, like, you're going down around one, and then coming back, and going down and around one, and coming back, and going down and around one. What this does is you have one set of cords that goes over, under, over, under. And you have another set of cords that are opposite in color that goes under. Like the first ones go over and under. The other set comes under and over. You see what I'm saying? That's all it is. It just snakes through. You have 2 sets of cords. And as they go down through there, they all cross just like that. And they go around and they come back and they cross again. And then they just, that's all it is, all the way down through there. If that makes any sense. Looking at these pictures, it's really hard to see. But when you stop and you think about the basics of how this thing works, if you know how to do a sanctified, doing this weave is really, really easy. But because my pictures, and I wanted to have the same colors repeating in a pattern, that's what makes the pictures confusing. See, like if you look at it this way, do you see this? Burgundy, orange, and burgundy. It goes over, under. See? See, right here you have an orange, burgundy, and orange. You flip it over on the top, and what you're going to have is burgundy, orange, burgundy. Burgundy, orange, burgundy. Makes sense? That's all it is. But like I was saying, this set, burgundy, orange, and burgundy, it goes over the crossover threads, it goes, and the next, it goes down, and then it goes under the crossover threads, and then it comes up, and it just does like that. And you have the other set, the orange, the burgundy, and the orange, and they're doing the same thing. They're just running exact opposite. That's all there is. That's all it is. And when you get to the end, you just, we all know, you pull them, cinch them, and singe them wherever you can hide them at, right? That's all it is. That's all it is. I know, it's a long video, and I probably oversimplified it, and I simplified it to the point that a lot of people were like, why did he have to explain all that? Hopefully to the people who may not understand by looking at the pictures. Hopefully what I explained made sense. Now, like I said, I'm going to share a link to a folder in Google Drive where I'll have all these pictures, and they're all numbered 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So, if you didn't catch it, go back, watch the video again, and all I do is simply explain it and look at the pictures, and it'll make sense. It's a really easy concept. It's just confusing in those pictures because I use multiple cords, and they're all the same color. There's quite a few of the similar color or same colors, but it's a couple of cords. You could do this same weave, honestly, with 2 cords, a black and a white. And they go over the crossover in the middle. You see what I'm saying? That's all they're doing. Going down. That's why I call it rolling thunder, because they're just rolling through. Does that make sense? Hopefully that explained it. I don't know. Y'all probably going, this guy's a moron. He's over-explaining all this. Like I said, I'm just trying to make it thorough. So for somebody who may not understand the pictures, my words will add to it. Will commentate. Is that the right way? Is that the right way to say it? My commentary on the pictures may help. I know some people are visual learners. Some people are auditory learners. Some people, they have to watch a video. Some people can simply look at pictures. I'm just trying to cover all the bases. I had some people want to know how I did this. Hopefully this helped. Alright, like I said, description below, there'll be a link to a folder in Google Drive where all the pictures are. And with that, I say thanks for watching, and give it a like and a share and all that good stuff. I guess. Alright, thanks everybody.